It's an industry that's revolutionized every area of entertainment, from television to sports to movies. The video game business rakes in more than $20 billion a year,
Wow.
making bigger bucks than even Hollywood.
Hollywood is an absolute dumpster fire. Currently, it's just producing one woke trash series after another woke trash series, and they're never learning the lessons that they should learn, why people hate it, and why woke is bad. But you know, low-key, honestly, I think Hollywood has always been absolute garbage. Now the garbage is not just on fire, but also it has a hint of woke to it. You know, it's just a bunch of boomers who can't let go of the past. They're gonna constantly tell you, oh, previously music was so better. Oh, previously music was, not music, but movies were also so better. And you know, when you ask them what are the good movies, they like name five from the whole of the 80s. They name maybe seven good music hits from the 70s, and so on. Now, people just forget about the old bad things. Because what's the point of remembering about the old bad things? Why would you want to remember the bad things? So people just remember the good things. And then they are living on a huge amount of copium that previously things were better. When they just forget the bad stuff.
In the early 2000s, something remarkable happened. The video game industry brought in more revenue than the movie industry. At this time, video games had only been around for a few decades at most, and most media companies still viewed them as a toy to entertain children and computer nerds.
True.
Today, the video game industry is worth more than the movie and music industry
Yeah, I believe that, but it's still pretty much honestly for nerds. The only thing now, there's a lot more nerds, you know? So it's bigger.
combined. And the companies that make these games are some of the most valuable businesses in the world.
Microsoft does not only make games, okay? Activision Blizzard is okay. Electronic Arts, by the way, this is market cap. Fits, Activision fits, Microsoft is reaching. NetEase Games is... I'm pretty sure that's also a little bit reach, and you can see Diablo Immortal there. Oh no! Tencent. Tencent, I think, owns also real estate and things like that. So Tencent is not actually the largest gaming company, but they do own a lot of gaming stuff also. Sony, yeah, that's also a reach. And Nintendo, well, honestly, Nintendo and Microsoft are both consoles, so I don't know. These bubbles are kind of reaching if you would ask me about their legitimacy.
The only thing is, they don't really make video games anymore. Movie studios are...
Wait, half of those companies didn't actually ever make video games, if we're being completely real here.
Pumping out record numbers of big budget movies, which are being viewed by more people on more platforms. But video game studios are doing the opposite.
They're making loot boxes and pack openings. Ah, yeah. Like, let's be real. If you remember this, you know what I'm talking about. When Hearthstone came out, people were watching pack openings like crazy. That shit was on fire on YouTube when Hearthstone finally came out. Admittedly, after a while it died down a little bit. Well, a lot, in fact. But for a small period of time, you could make a YouTube career in Hearthstone just by opening packs. It's just insanity.
The opposite. Rockstar, the creators of the infamous Grand Theft Auto series, used to release a new game every 4 months on average. But as of mid-2022, their latest game is now almost 4 years old, and there is no news of any new releases coming soon.
Wait, there is. They are planning GTA 6. I'm pretty sure they already announced something about that. They are planning a new GTA.
Despite this dry spell, Rockstar's parent company just had its best financial year ever. Why? Well, the reason is simple.
Because they milk it.
Video game companies don't make money producing video games anymore.
Yep.
In fact, game companies will try to do whatever they can.
Oh, my heart goes out to anyone who plays FIFA, Madden, NBA, or any of that sports garbage. Because they literally just reskin the game every year. I don't play that, but I see it. They literally just reskin the game. Well, they don't even honestly reskin. They almost change nothing and just call it the new year. It's insane how sports fans are getting shafted in the gaming industry.
To avoid producing new games because their businesses do better the less they make. I think a lot of you are already muttering microtransactions under your breath, but that's only half the story. So it's time to learn how money works to find out why video...
Okay, boys, since now you know that it's a how money works video, let's place our bets. Is this gonna be absolute garbage? Or will this be believable? Because how money works is a 50-50 coin flip. Sometimes he goes full communist retard on people, sometimes it's actually kinda reasonable. So place your bets down.
Video game publishers stopped publishing video games. This week's lesson was made possible by ClickUp. We all love the feeling of accomplishment. It's especially rewarding when you do something that took a lot of work and effort to make, and an even better feeling when you accomplish something in a very...
Is this a diversity ad? Look at this. The guy's in a wheelchair. Yeah, this is hilarious.
Very efficient manner, knowing that you're not wasting any extra time. Imagine having one extra day every week, more time to cook healthy meals, work on becoming a better content creator.
Masturbate. I would masturbate.
Or just binge watching some good reality TV show.
No, I would masturbate.
I know if I had an extra day, I would be spending it going to the gym more often.
Idiot.
Or at least I like to tell myself that. No matter how you'd spend that time, ClickUp is the productivity platform that'll save you one day a week on work guaranteed. ClickUp is a work management platform designed to flex your team's unique needs. Whether you're building product roadmaps, launching a marketing...
Oh my god, this kind of guy... Oh man. There are so many companies that try to sell optimization to other companies. It's absolutely insane. I haven't seen this, but this is actually the first time I hear about it, so it must be garbage just from the fact that they don't have a marketing budget. The fact is, I can guarantee you that they're literally just selling you an interactive calendar. I can guarantee you that they're just selling you an interactive calendar. This is all they do. This is all these companies do.
Campaign, managing engineering sprints, or supporting clients around the globe, ClickUp is fully customized.
Yeah, because you don't know how to use Microsoft Access meeting schedules.
To help your organization supercharge productivity, alignment, and visibility. To get started...
Wait, actually, let's look at this. A little bit back. A little bit back. Now a little bit forward. Oh! Process video ideas, add text, scout locations, hire crew. Okay, so yeah, they're just doing the classic. They're just laying it out in every window what you should be doing that already you know that you should be doing. Oh, I hate these type of things. They're so annoying.
Alignment and visibility. To get started, use the link in the description and use code HMW to get 15% off ClickUp's massive unlimited plan for a year, meaning you can start reclaiming your time for under $5 a month.
Wow.
Join the more than 800,000 highly productive teams using ClickUp today.
And after that, you can buy yourself an app that reminds you that you actually have to do work by reminding you that you have work. What a great system. What a great world. Oh, Doom Eternal. Nice.
Video games are a major industry, and their development has become a major business endeavor.
Gaming stocks.
As I said, the
gaming stocks see blah blah blah. Okay.
industry's on fire.
Oh my god, remember the time when Activision Blizzard was above 70? Woo! Man, that feels like a long time ago.
More people have recognized the value of games.
Cyberpunk 2077 cost CD Projekt Red $316 million to produce and market. This is more than only a
Marketing's literally half the cost, by the way.
handful of the biggest budget movies ever.
Damn.
It was also a poorly received video game, which tainted the game company's credibility with their audience and their stock price with their investors.
I'm sorry.
They got sued by the investors for lying, because they lied to the investors pretty-goddamn directly. My speculation that CD Projekt Red was close to collapse and bankruptcy if something good didn't happen, if people did not try to save themselves.
Sorry.
Their 2021 annual earnings report showed that they generated gross sales of $207 million from the title. They may go on to sell more copies as time passes, but so far, this game is shaping up to be a...
I think everyone has already forgotten about Cyberpunk. I personally don't see anything about it anywhere. No one's making videos, no one's talking about it, it's dead in the water. If it has sales, those sales are pitiful.
Staggering loss for the company.
I and the entire leadership team are deeply sorry for this, and this video is me publicly owning up to that.
Now,
honestly, that's your problem. If you trust the Polish person, that's kinda on you. It's like giving Greece money and expecting it to be returned. No, Greece doesn't have a problem with you giving it money. You have a problem by giving Greece money.
Now, you might think I'm cherry-picking a famously bad example, but many game publishers have found themselves investing heavily into AAA game titles only for them to fail upon launch. Fallout 76, Battlefield 2040...
Okay, how is it not the gaming studio's fault that Fallout 76 was a flop? Because it was bad. It didn't have NPCs. You only talked to robots. It was shit. Like, the development was so ridiculously bad. The bugs were insane. Enemies that you can't hit. Dogs with giraffe necks. The bugs just did not absolutely stop when it came to Fallout 76. It was barely playable. You could not understand a lot of things. When I played that game, you know what I did? I accidentally went in the fucking wrong direction and started doing harder content than I was supposed to do. And I was like, damn, why am I dying so much? Everything's just so better than me and so stronger than me. Yeah, it was absolute. It's just such a dumpster fire, dude. And that's their own fault. Battlefield 2042, same fucking shit, with attack helicopter boats, where boats literally could fly and scale buildings.
2 and Destiny all being big budgets.
Oh yeah, Destiny was also... Destiny, I think, was the biggest flop. People absolutely hated... No, wait, was it Destiny a complete flop? No, it wasn't. Now people like Destiny. Destiny's actually a really good game. They can fix it. They can fix a lot of things. Fallout 76, I don't honestly want to play it now anymore because of my initial experiences were so fucking bad with it. But I mean, Fallout 76 now is kind of playable. There's actually NPCs to talk to, there's villages, there's a lot of things. No idea about Battlefield 2042 though. I think that one's still kind of off.
Stinkers. AAA games have become incredibly complex to develop. They now require unique, dedicated work of thousands of people. The more moving parts these publishers try to put into their...
No, that is just flat out wrong. Because we see the exact opposite constantly in gaming. How many games come out every year that look exactly like your newest, best AAA game or even better, but their budget was only 10% of that studio's? I don't know what this is called, maybe it's bloat or whatever, but essentially what happens here is the bigger the studio gets, the more money it spends on processes that it previously managed completely fine for, you know, a tenth of the cost that now you need to sink in it for less results. It's absolutely insane. The processes are the exact same. The processes don't change, and the people don't change, and what you're expecting doesn't change, but the price for them for some magical reason does change.
Games, the more chances there are for things to go wrong.
Nice.
The original Halo, produced by a team of around 100 people, was quite substantial. Halo Infinite, which was released 2 decades later, had more than 100 voice actors. Video games becoming more expensive to produce is not, by itself, a problem. An industry this big is always going to have room for massive budgets, but if companies are going to make these investments, they need to be worthwhile.
Shut up and take my money!
Most big budget games, just like most big budget movies, do make money. But despite both being products designed to entertain people, movies and video games are very different. Most people will only ever watch a movie once or twice, whereas video games are designed.
I don't think this guy has ever met woman. Some women watch one and the same movie like 5 times a goddamn year.
To be played for hundreds of hours. Video game companies have learned to take advantage of this by selling more and more features to players as they continue to play. These microtransactions, for many titles, have become the primary revenue generator, with actual game sales being a nice little bonus. Some companies have made their games free to play.
The worst part about this is that, yeah, companies make now games free to play just because they want as many people as possible to milk them as much as possible. I mean, look at Diablo Immortal. That thing is literally running on rails. No one else is playing the game because it's shit, but they're just feeding the whales and the whales are giving it back in gold.
Because they know that more online players is more opportunities for them to sell virtual upgrades or cosmetic items on the game's marketplace. Releasing a new version of the game.
People have tried the marketplace. The marketplace is actually absolutely the best thing. Because the people who make the most money out of marketplaces aren't the ones who game it, aren't the ones who actively use it. It's the company that gets their 5%, 10%, 20% cut of each transaction. There have been so many companies that try to emulate what Steam did, because the marketplace for Steam is a gold mine. It is literally a goddamn gold mine.
Can cannibalize these potential sales as players move over to the new game with the new store. If Rockstar released Grand Theft Auto 6 this year, there is no doubt it would make a ton of money, but it would also reduce revenue coming in from Grand Theft Auto Online, the company's biggest earner. It might still be worth it, but it's a huge risk. The company would need to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to produce a new game and run the risk of it being a buggy mess.
It's the same engine, right, that I worked on when I was there.
Yes.
The core of it. It's the same content. They've really perfected the systems. Again, there's a beautiful machine there that you'd have to try really hard to fuck up.
Not only can game companies
Oh, bruh, game companies are professionals at fucking up, let's be real.
lose a source of revenue from an upgrade, they can also annoy the big spenders who would be left with hundreds of dollars worth of virtual items in an outdated video game. Rockstar would have.
The big spenders are just gonna move on. The big spenders, yeah, maybe one of those big spenders makes us think about it on the forums where literally no one gives a shit about him, okay? But most big spenders are gonna move on.
Have a choice. Do they A, let people have all the stuff they paid for in Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto 6?
Whoa, that's, what the fuck is that even, that's not even, if anyone in the boardroom suggested, hey, how about we let people from GTA 5, what they bought, let's give them that for free, and man, he would be thrown out of the window. He would most likely be nailed to the cross as a goddamn heretic.
People have all the stuff they paid for in Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto 6, or do they B, make people start from scratch?
Obviously.
Option A would mean that their new project is going to miss out on a lot of revenue from people who are happy to spend real-life money to have the coolest stuff the game has to offer. Leaving potential revenue on the table is not going to be popular with the investors that need to greenlight such a large project.
Around GTA 6. So the question is there, how do we think about remaster and console?
One thing that is absolutely 100% overrated is investors in companies. The big investors matter, and they do have a say, and they do actually get told things that matters, okay? But on average, for example, a lot of people are using the investor defense when a company does something shitty. Well, obviously, this company is not trying to do something shitty just because of a narrative or anything like that. Because if they do that, then the investors are going to sue them because they are losing the money. good luck getting investors to sue a company, okay? Plus, it's so hard to sue a company as an investor and actually prove that they maliciously tried to sabotage themselves so the investors get less money. It's so hard.
Cycle potentially impacting the timing of GTA 6, and any interest in giving a year right here.
Right, so Rockstar hasn't announced any new titles for the market.
Option B will make the most financially valuable players angry if the new game doesn't have enough new features. They might not take the leap at all and choose to continue playing the old version with all of their stuff. On the topic of new features, putting them into games has become both easier...
That's not how it happens. Again, that's kind of bullshit. We actually saw this with Lost Ark. The Russians were able to play Lost Ark already for a very long time. It was quite goddamn popular, by the way, in Russia. A lot of Russians played it. When it came to Steam finally, and Europe could play it, and when America could play it, a lot of Russians just forsake all of their achievements in their old realms and started playing it on Steam purely out of convenience. That's it. People will move on. People always move on.
For small projects and harder for larger ones. We have already seen that massively ambitious games chocked full of features where you can do everything have the potential to be massive embarrassments when even a few of these features don't work. The problem big game companies face is that they can't push these large projects without promising something to differentiate them from the long list of titles that already exist. There was a time when new features could be as simple as updated graphics. Gran Turismo games used to make headlines about what at the time looked like photorealistic graphics. Now, game development tools like Unreal Engine give developers access to high-end graphics right out of the box without the need for teams of developers to build a game from scratch. Not only is it harder for big-budget games to distinguish themselves on features...
Oh no! He's gonna open a chicken selling place. I mean, like a McDonald's or something. That's gonna be devastating. But yeah, new engines, are they called engines? But anyway, sooner or later, someone's gonna make such a good engine, so simple to use, so advanced with so many easy opportunities that people are gonna churn out AAA games by themselves. It's gonna happen. Sooner or later, that's gonna be reality. Sooner or later, we're gonna get to the point where we will be able to communicate with an AI, and that AI creates what we want to create for us.
Features, it's harder for them to justify their need at all.
Who said?
The marketing people.
Marketing? I thought we were supposed to have total creative control.
Welcome to the Matrix.
The original Doom launched in 1993, and quickly became the game people thought of when they thought of a combat video game.
Wait. That's not Doom.
Less than 10 years later, in 2001, Halo Combat Evolved arguably stole that title and quickly became the most popular first-person shooter ever up until that point.
Shooter should really enjoy the game, as you know.
Or was that Doom? Wait, I have played that game. That's the thing. I played it when I was 8. I think it was different. I don't even remember if I played the original Doom. No, I did play. Yeah, that was the Castle Wolfenstein or whatever it's called. That one I played first, and then I played Doom. I think in which of those games the secret was where you were in the theater. It was like the second or third level, and you could blow up with an RPG the crutch of the girl dancing there, and it was great. Man, that was the great shit.
Should anyone, besides being, easily the best game of the Xbox launch, it's one of the best first-person shooters ever on any platform.
It was easy to see why. The technology was vastly different, and the overall immersion and enjoyability of the first Halo game was far greater than that of Doom. Now, 20 years later, people are still playing the first Halo game because it really has everything you could ever want in a shooter. Yes, the graphics are obviously dated, but the difference between Combat Evolved and the latest Halo game are significant.
I have absolutely nothing against these graphics. Honestly, this looks kind of shit. The face doesn't look real at all.
Smaller than the differences between Combat Evolved and Doom. For many players, the nostalgia and lower hardware requirements of the older game are actually a draw. companies are forced to get more and more ambitions in order to justify new games. And while technology can make some things possible that simply weren't 20 years ago, it still depends on an ever larger number of human developers to stuff these features into a game.
Video games have changed the course of human evolution to some degree.
When existing games exist that people are already perfectly happy with, they are also going to be far less accepting of any bugs or mistakes made by any of the thousands of developers now involved in bringing these games to life. Alright, so games have become more expensive and riskier to produce.
Yes.
Technology has hit a plateau where there is less need for new games to keep up, and game companies have found new ways to make money much more.
Mobile gaming is already making twice or triple the revenue of PC games plus console games, if I'm not mistaken. They are already just milking that shit.
Predictably. Now, I said at the beginning of this video that microtransactions were only half the story behind why game companies could get away with going so long between new big releases. Yes, it's true. If gamers were not happy to spend hundreds of dollars on a single game over many years, these companies would probably be forced to release more games to keep the money rolling in. In fact, the predatory monetization of video games is something I have already made a separate video on. But there is something else that has arguably been an even better business opportunity for the big players in the video game industry, and this is providing tools to other game developers. There is an old saying that if you want to get rich in a gold rush, you don't dig for gold, you sell the shovels. There are thousands of small game studios all trying to make the next PUBG or Fortnite. Some of them will make millions of dollars, and most of them will make very little money at all.
Fortnite did not start, by the way, as Fortnite. It started as like some kind of zombie survival game or something like that.
Games with more money behind them do have a better chance of making a return on their investment, but that is still digging for gold in a very crowded and competitive marketplace. Valve was once a very successful game studio. Now, producing games is just a side hustle for them, because they make more money running the Steam marketplace.
They don't produce games anymore.
Why doesn't Valve make games anymore?
Because they don't have to. They have enough money.
They sure.
End of the news.
Epic Games also started off as a video game developer, but they have now branched out into running the Epic Game Store, as well as licensing the tools that they use to make their games to other aspiring developers. Unreal Engine costs $1,500 per developer per year. There are 22,000 self-reported video...
Oh, right! I forgot about this. Licensing. Licensing for programs doesn't work like you buy a license for your whole company. You buy a license for every person, every IP address for a PC that's gonna use that program. I completely forgot about that.
Businesses operating in America. Even if all of these companies had 5 developers each, that is over 100,000 Unreal Engine customers. Unreal Engine currently has 13% market share, meaning that Epic Games could be making $20 million in licensing fees alone, which is actually not that much really. But Epic Games isn't done there.
I'd say that's a shit ton of money, by the way.
They actually intentionally make their software cheap to use. In many cases, they make it totally free. Why? Because they also charge a 5% royalty fee on any sales the game makes over $1 million.
Told you.
Just like free-to-play games are designed to bring in big spending players, Unreal's free-to-develop model is designed to bring in bigger.
Tetris Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order was, I think, a pretty good game. I didn't play it, but people, I think, said it was good.
Earning titles. That 13% market share could be bringing in as much as $650 million from the American game market alone. Epic is a privately held company, so they do not release their financials, but it is estimated that the company earns more than $1 billion a year worldwide from their game engine alone. Some other companies have taken a less technical approach to generate new income streams. Some of the biggest names in gaming, like EA and Ubisoft, have just acquired dozens of smaller game studios. Not only does this share...
Oh yeah, everyone's buying up everything. Microsoft bought... What did they... Oh, Blizzard, right, they bought Blizzard. Yeah, that's a big deal. Everyone's trying to acquire everyone, and everyone's trying to get everything on their own platform. Because everyone understands that the best way to make money is just own the marketplace where everyone else tries to make money. Also, who the fuck beat up this man and why?
For overhead costs amongst lots of different projects, it also makes for much more predictable revenue.
Go buy your mama a house. Go buy your whole family houses. Put this money in your savings account.
Bro, let's be real. She's spending that money right out the door. She already has a car waiting to take her to get a Brazilian butt surgery or implant or whatever the fuck it's called, and there's gonna be more.
Go spend some money for no reason. Come back and ask for more.
Instead of putting all of their eggs in one basket, these companies spread the risk out over dozens of studios and hundreds of different titles. Some of them will do well and some of them will fail, but as long as those winners pay for the losers and then some, the business is sound. Managing lots of smaller developers also means that these big companies get exposure to lots of different areas of the gaming market. There's money to be made in hardcore competitive games, story-driven games, social games, and mobile games, but it's impossible to make a game that makes money from all of these markets at once. Unfortunately, big budget
someone will try.
Games are going to become less and less common. Video games are a business, and businesses need to go where the money tells them to. Candy Crush is one of the highest grossing games of all time, and it was made on a...
Oh, wow. PUBG. I know why PUBG is here. It's PUBG is the first currently because it's big in China. China loves PUBG. Honor of Kings, don't actually even know that. Genshin Impact slaying it. Roblox, how did this get big? I have no idea, but it is what it is. Coin Must, I've never heard of it. Pokemon Go. How do you Pokemon Go cash? Genera Free Fire? What? Garena? Oh. Garena? Wait, what? G-Arena? Whoa! What do you mean G-Arena Free Fire? Interesting. Candy Crush. Well, Candy Crush has been around forever. If you factor in how long Candy Crush has been active and how many housewives there are in the world, I don't think it has made that much money, okay?
An initial budget of less than $1 million.
Tasty.
For as long as customers are content with the games they currently have and are willing to spend more money on the titles that came out decades ago, game companies are going to avoid taking risks that could sink their entire business. Now, if you want to find out just...
That was a horrible play, by the way. That guy sucked. Why did he do that?
That's how creative these companies have become, and squeezing as much money as possible out of their players, you should go and watch my video on the predatory monetization of video games. A special thank...
There's a million videos like that. I have a video also about predatory monetization. Sometimes it's pretty interesting to look at them because some companies do a real damn fine job at predatory micromanaging everything that is placed in the game. Anyway, 10 out of 10. This was Kuzar Says, and thanks for watching. Subscribe!